Good Wednesday morning, everybody. Thanks so much for being with us here at the First Alert Digital News Desk as we're taking a live look at downtown Green Bay, looking over the courthouse there. You can see the flag blowing in the wind. A bit of snow on the rooftops as well, as we have a First Alert weather day this morning. A sloppy, messy morning. We will check in with Chief Meteorologist Steve Baylon in just a short moment to discuss all that we can expect for this weather, what we saw overnight, what we can expect for the rest of the week. Good news for you folks that are looking for some sunshine. Steve says some of that can be expected. Great to have you with us again. I'm Emerson Lehman. Really appreciate you taking some time out of your morning to join us here at the Digital News Desk. It was a big day if you were watching Action 2 News this morning. Of course, we had that First Alert weather day that we were talking about, but we also had a lot of election results to go over. So we're going to jump right into that real quick. Of course, Wisconsin's spring election, the big race that got a lot of national attention was that open seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. You had Judge Susan Crawford going against Judge Brad Schimmel, and Susan Crawford, as you look at your screen here, the winner of that race with 55% of the vote, filling that seat that will keep the Supreme Court here in Wisconsin at a 4-3 liberal majority. And then the state superintendent of public instruction, Dr. Jill Underly, the incumbent there, defeating her challenger Brittany Kinzer with 52.9% of the vote. And then the other statewide thing on the ballot that we were really following was that voter ID, voter photo ID, and that voters did decide that that should be added to and established by law with a 62.8% vote. So you can check out all of this information at our website, WBAY.com. We've also got a lot of the local races taking place in your community as well, so make sure to take a look at that. I also want to show you this, going back to that Supreme Court race. This shows some of the county layouts and how counties voted in Wisconsin. As you can see, the purple color is for Crawford, the darker the color, the more support they had, and orange is for Schimmel. So you can see Milwaukee County, Dane County, those voted very heavily in favor of Judge Susan Crawford, which was to be expected. Both of those counties usually leaning toward the liberal candidate, the Democratic-backed candidate, which was the case with Judge Susan Crawford. And then some of these other counties here in central Wisconsin, Taylor County, the one really with a lot of support there for Judge Brad Schimmel, with over 70% of the vote there. Looking here in northeast Wisconsin, you can see Green Bay showed about 51.6% leaning in favor of Judge Susan Crawford to Judge Brad Schimmel's 48.4%. Looking over to Outagamie County, 50.7 to 49.3. This updated again at 8:29 this morning, so about 7 minutes ago, with 99% of the votes counted. And then over on the coastline in Kewaunee County, you can see 62.6% in favor of Brad Schimmel. But again, all this information, this map here, courtesy of the AP, showing that very highly contested race. It brought in a lot of attention nationally. And again, all of those election results can be found at our website, WBAY.com, where you can see all of that for yourself, take a deeper look at everything that's going on right there. And now we want to take a deeper look at this weather. We have a First Alert Weather Day, bringing in Chief Meteorologist Steve Baylon here. Steve, you used so many different adjectives to describe the conditions out there this morning, and it was nice too, because we have all these different sky cams here at our disposal. And you'd look in Sturgeon Bay, you could see some flakes. You'd look in Oshkosh, you could see it was raining. It was just a mix all over the place, right?
Yeah, a bit of a potpourri of precipitation, if you will, Emerson, giving us some different road conditions this morning, although thankfully for the morning commute in the Fox Valley, for most folks, it was mainly wet, as a lot of the wet, slushy snow that came down last night was melting on the road surfaces. Temperatures were generally at and above freezing. Now you probably noticed there's a bit of slush on the grass in a lot of places. A lot of folks picked up an inch or two overnight, and that includes the Green Bay area. This is a live view looking across the street towards the Brown County Courthouse. It's raining, and at times I can see a few wet snowflakes mixed in. We're above freezing. We're at 35, but with a blustery east wind at 17 miles an hour, it feels like 25 degrees out there. So there's First Alert Viper Max, which is lit up like a Christmas tree, all sorts of pretty colors. Shawano, Sturgeon Bay and north, you're getting some wet snow right now, probably some additional snow accumulation on grassy surfaces, but farther south you're seeing that green color there, and that's primarily rain, and it's coming down at I would say a good moderate clip and around the areas of yellow from Oshkosh over towards Sheboygan. Now the pink is where you're getting a mix of some rain and snow, and there might be a little bit of some sleet mixed in. That is a possibility. I've had some reports of a little thin glaze of some freezing rain, but nothing nearly as bad freezing rain-wise compared to the storm that hit the North Woods over the weekend. And if you look at First Alert Viper Max, we kind of widened our view. You can see there's some thunderstorms down towards the Milwaukee area and across Lake Michigan down towards Kalamazoo, Michigan. We here in Northeast Wisconsin have a chance of some thunderstorms this afternoon, but looking at the latest data, I'm not as excited about the severe weather risk as we were over the past day or so. We'll touch on that in just a second. So the National Weather Service continues a winter weather advisory. That's from Waushara County and to the north. Those counties will get whittled away gradually from south to north between now and this early afternoon. But for folks in the North Woods, another slushy inch or so is a possibility as this slug of moisture makes its way towards the upper Michigan border. So on this first alert weather day, our severe weather outlook is low to moderate. Wet snow turning to rain, variable road conditions. And then in the afternoon, a chance of some thunderstorms. They could have locally heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. So there's the forecast for today. Temperatures rising out of the 30s, getting into the 40s in most spots. The high of 47 for Green Bay. That's probably not going to be until about sunset. In case you're wondering, sunset is 7:22 this evening. That's probably when our temperatures will climb into the upper 40s. It's not very common that you tend to see the warmest readings around and after dark. But with this dynamic storm system coming through, that's kind of the situation that we're in. So you could see all that rain and storm activity pushing into the lower Great Lakes ahead of this incoming low pressure system. That's that spring storm. And later today, that area of low pressure is going to create a widespread episode of severe weather across the mid-Mississippi Valley, especially areas in the Ohio Valley down towards, say, Memphis, Tennessee. They may be looking at numerous tornadoes later today. Thankfully, we are not in the crosshairs of that. If anything, in Northeast Wisconsin, the risk of severe weather seems to be decreasing thanks to the colder, more stable air mass that's going to hang in for much of the day. Now that said, areas southeast of the Fox cities from Fond du Lac to Manitowoc over towards Sheboygan, you have a level 1 risk of severe weather on our 1 to 5 severe weather scale, and 5 is the most severe of situations. But the bottom line is that across east central Wisconsin there is a marginal risk of severe weather. An isolated strong to severe thunderstorm is possible, while more general thunderstorms will be possible farther north, like in around the Green Bay area and up into Door County. If any strong storms develop later today, they could have some wind gusts up around 40 to 60 miles an hour, maybe some hail up to an inch in diameter, but I think really the big thing would be some brief downpours that come across the area. So let's go to First Alert Pinpoint Predictor, and we'll zip through the additional snowfall. Again, areas north of Green Bay could pick up another slushy inch of snow. I would ignore that data there for Manitowoc. I don't buy that for a second. I think at this point you're going to be seeing rain. And there's that rain and snow lifting to the north and to the east. And we should see a lull in the precipitation around 1 o'clock this afternoon. But then late in the day, here come these scattered to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. There might be a healthy storm passing through the Green Bay area around 6 o'clock this evening if Pinpoint Predictor is timing it well. And then once we head towards tonight, the showers and storms are exiting the area. You probably have noticed it's pretty breezy outside, and it's going to be downright windy as we go into the midday and the afternoon as southeast winds frequently gust over over 40 miles an hour. Considering the wind and the precipitation, I strongly encourage people to be extra careful on bridges and overpasses. Not a fun day to drive over to Leo Frigo Bridge, I would imagine. The high temperatures this afternoon, 30s in the north, 50s farther south, a lot of 40s in between, a high of 43 today in Shawano, 44 in Manitowoc. Now, right now, you're in the mid-30s with 36 degrees in Appleton and 20s in the north where you're still seeing that snow coming down. Right now, 34 in Marinette. The wind is out of the east and southeast, sustained around 15, 20 miles an hour, but we've got some higher gusts. At this hour, Sheboygan's got a wind gust of 32 miles an hour, and those gusts are only going to get stronger over the next few hours as that low pressure system closes in on us. So there's your First Alert Super 7-day forecast. 47 today, 48 tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be another windy day, except on the backside of that spring storm system. The wind whips around to the west and could be gusting up around 40 miles an hour. And other than maybe a couple sprinkles or a couple flakes in the north, we're going to be drying out as we wrap up the week. In fact, looking at Friday, we should have some sunshine, followed by increasing clouds in the afternoon. Skies will be mostly cloudy Friday evening, but I think we're going to be dry for the T-Rats home opener against Cedar Rapids. If you're going to catch their first home game of the season, you definitely want to bring along a sweatshirt or jackets for you and the kids. Temperatures will be dropping down through the 40s, and we'll see highs dropping back into the 40s on Sunday with highs only in the 30s on Monday. So Monday going back to work, it looks a little bit blustery and colder, but Emerson, I've got some good news. Just beyond that First Alert Super 7-day forecast, there are signs that another warming trend is going to be building. There is a chance, I'm saying there is a chance, not at the end of this week, but at the end of next week, there may be a day or two where our high temperatures away from Lake Michigan sneak into the 60s.
Ooh, all right, Steve. Well, I'm going to take your chance and your word on that chance and just keep my fingers crossed for that. I think a lot of people are, because we're sick of it. We're sick of the slush and the snow, and of course, April showers hopefully bring Mayflowers. We talked about this yesterday too.
We did.
That last week in April, that's when we need it to be draft week. We want that nice and sunny and 60s and perfect. We would love that.
You're looking for Chamber of Commerce weather. That's a phrase that some meteorologists like to use. Keith Gibson likes to use that one. Chamber of Commerce weather, where it's just perfect. We'll see, but I do think we're turning the corner with our weather pattern between now and the middle of this month.
All right, Steve, thanks so much. We'll let you go get ready for Action 2 News mid-morning, coming up at 9 o'clock with Steve and Aisha Morales. Make sure to join them for that and enjoy this gloomy view of Sturgeon Bay on this Wednesday morning. You can see even a little bit of snow dust out on the docks out there. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. We'll see you around.